In 2021 and into 2022, Walt Disney Animation Studios and Pixar Animation will continue their slate of completely original new stories. So for today, let's dive into what we know so far about all of these movies. Up next. Hi there Waltineers, I'm Jack and this is of course DSNY Newscast, and before we get started, if you happen to like this video at the end of a video for today, then maybe consider subscribing down below or hitting the notification bell. And now we've got all the obligatory YouTuber stuff out the way, let's get straight into it. So let's begin with Pixar's LUCA, which will be released this summer, as this will be a coming-of-age story set in a beautiful town in the Italian Riviera, where a young boy named Luca and his best friend Alberto have an unforgettable summer filled with gelato, pasta, and endless scooter rides. However, they're harbouring a deeply held secret that they're actually sea monsters from an underwater world. And the reason why this poses such a big problem is because of the hostile attitude of the townsfolk toward the myths and legends of sea monsters, thus meaning that any discovery of their true form will not only threaten their fun-filled land adventures, but also perhaps their friendship. Now beyond that synopsis, we actually have additional details through an interview with the director, as we've learnt that Luca and Alberto will be befriended by a young human girl called Julia, who is herself an outsider and outcast from the rest of the town. And what may possibly pose the biggest risk of all is that Luca yearns to explore all of Italy and Italian culture with a life on land, which seems pretty impossible considering, he's a sea monster. And another thing that we've also been able to deduce from the trailer is there's evidence that this will be a period movie set in the past, as in the background of this shot, there are Italian movie posters for Roman Holiday and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which were movies that were released in 1953 and 1954 respectively, indicating that that's the time period for this Pixar film. But beyond the synopsis details, we also know that Jacob Tremblay, Jack Dylan Grazer, and Emma Berman will voice Luca, Alberto, and Julia. And Maya Rudolph from Saturday Night Live and The Good Place will voice Luca's mother, Daniela, and Jim Gaffigan will voice his dad, Lorenzo. And this will also be the feature-length directorial debut of Enrico Casarosa, who previously directed the Oscar-nominated Pixar short La Luna, which is often considered to be one of the best Pixar shorts, not only for its unique animation style, but also the beautifully simplistic yet imaginative story concept, which we can see flows throughout this movie, and is a notable departure from the traditional Pixar animation style, and it almost looks like claymation. And then with regards to the release date, it was originally stated that this movie was to be released theatrically on June 18th, 2021. However, in the description of the trailer on YouTube, this has now been changed to just say June instead. And on the poster, it simply says this summer, which could mean that as of the time of this recording, Disney has not yet decided whether this will stay as a strictly theatrical release and will later come to Disney Plus, or whether more likely it may switch to a hybrid approach, much like we've seen with Disney's Raya and The Last Dragon, where it is available in theaters and on Disney Plus Premier Access on the same day for an additional fee of $29.99. But either way, we'll definitely be able to see this fish out of water story splash onto our screens this summer. Then fast forwarding to later on this year, on November 24th, 2021, Walt Disney Animation Studios will release their 60th feature-length animated movie with Disney's Encanto. That is directed by Byron Howard and Jared Bush, who previously directed 2016's Zootopia. And this movie is set in Colombia, with a translation of the Spanish word Encanto meaning charm. And that's exactly what this movie is all about, as the story centres around an extraordinary family, the Madrigals, who live in the mountains of Colombia, in a magical house in a wondrous and charmed place called Encanto. And the magic of the Encanto has blessed every child in the family with a unique gift from super strength to the power to heal. That is, every child except one, Mirabel. But when she discovers that the magic surrounding the Encanto is in danger, Mirabel decides that she, the only ordinary Madrigal, might just be her exceptional family's last hope. Now, at the time of this recording in March of 2021, we don't have any officially released footage or even images of the characters in the movie. But what we do know is that Stephanie Beatriz, who plays Rosa Diaz in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, will be voicing Mirabel Madrigal, and this film will continue the tradition of being a classic Disney animated musical, with the songs and music this time written by Lin-Manuel Miranda in both English and Spanish. However, thanks to the great reporting by the DisInsider.com, which I highly recommend checking out for all the latest Disney movie news, we have the movie's main character descriptions, with the first being Mirabel herself, who is described as a lovable, funny, fallible, and utterly human character who has a great sense of humour and channels her inner comedienne as a coping mechanism to help cover up her struggles with her self-worth. Then there's Inez, who is most likely Mirabel's older sister in her 20s, who is the golden child of a family with a beautiful singing voice and seems to have everything together, yet on the inside is deeply insecure. Then we have Juana, who is most likely Mirabel's mother, who's a deep thinker and a good listener, and Fernando, who is possibly Mirabel's father, and is loyal and kind and is the life of the party. And lastly, there's the 75-year-old matriarch of the Madrigal family, Andrea, who is strong and determined, sometimes to a fault. With a dry wit and a tough presence, she doesn't let anybody get in her way. So that's everything that we know so far about Encanto, but we should be receiving our first look at this movie with a teaser trailer in early summer. But then we move into 2022, and Pixar will be continuing their string of original movies with the addition of Turning Red that will be released in spring. And this movie will tell the story of Mei Lee, who is a confident and dorky 13-year-old torn between staying her mother's dutiful daughter and the chaos of adolescence, along with her devotion to her favourite boy band. And whilst dealing with all of the awkwardness of being a teenager, whenever she gets a little bit too excited, she uncontrollably transforms into a giant red panda, which is a result of a family curse. Now this movie holds a lot of promise, not only because it will be the feature-length directorial debut for Domee Shi, who won the Academy Award in 2019 for the Pixar short Bao, but also its art style is influenced by Eastern animation. And despite this film being slated for spring 2022, it does have a more specific theatrical release date of March 11th, 2022. However, that's not all from Pixar next year. As you see in the summer, they're going to be releasing a science fiction animated movie unlike anything they've ever created before, when they release Lightyear on June 17th, 2022. And this movie will be unique, not only because it will be aiming to advance the genre of sci-fi animation, but also it will be the first Pixar spin-off to a Pixar franchise, or more specifically, an origin story to the beloved Toy Story character of the same name. And the premise here is that we're going to be watching the blockbuster movie that the Buzz Lightyear character is derived from as part of the merchandise for that in-universe movie franchise, with the official synopsis stating that we'll learn how a young test pilot became the space ranger that we all know him to be today. However, continuing the Hollywood practice of actors not always voicing their action figures, much in the same way that Tom Hanks' brother Jim Hanks voices any Woody merchandise, the toy version of Buzz Lightyear will still be voiced by Tim Allen, whereas the human actor Lightyear character in this movie is going to be voiced by Captain America himself, Chris Evans, instead. And the director of this movie will be Angus MacLane, who has previously directed Pixar shorts such as Small Fry, Toy Story of Terror, and Burn-E, along with being the directing animator on WALL-E. So clearly there's a background of working on a previous sci-fi Pixar movie. So to summarise, this will not be a Toy Story movie, but it will exist within the expanded Toy Story universe, which, if you think about it, is a fascinating way to tell the origin stories of certain Pixar characters in a non-direct sequel, whilst also using the name recognition of Buzz Lightyear. And of course, it also offers potential to officially legitimise the Pixar theory, if Pixar wanted to tie together multiple properties into a cinematic universe. And then in November of 2022, Walt Disney Animation Studios has another movie coming out. However, at this time we don't have any hard details about what that project will be. So instead, let's wrap up with a few bonus animation offerings that will be continuing the Disney and Pixar animation universes, but this time on Disney+. As firstly, we'll be returning to Monstropolis for another chapter in the Monsters Inc. story, with the series Monsters at Work, which will begin streaming on July 2nd on Disney+. However, despite this not being animated by Pixar and instead will be produced by Walt Disney TV Animation, that doesn't mean that we won't see a return of the original voice cast, as Billy Crystal and John Goodman have confirmed that they're back voicing Mike and Sully once again, as this story will take place the day after the Monsters Incorporated power plant transferred over to harvesting the laughter of children for the city's fuel source. And in this series, we'll follow the story of Tyler Tuskman, voiced by Ben Feldman, as an eager young monster who's always dreamed of becoming a scarer, but then discovers he has graduated top of his class at Monsters University, just as the business of scaring is out and laughter is in. And in addition to Ben Feldman, Henry Winkler will voice Fritz, the scatterbrained boss, John Ratzenberger will voice Tyler's dad, Bernard, Jennifer Tilly will return as Celia, and Bob Peterson will voice Roz's twin sister, Rose. And then in addition to that, beginning to stream in fall of 2021 will be Doug Days. And this will be a short series where Doug takes on the dangers of suburbia like puppies, fireworks, and the pesky backyard squirrel. And then in fall of 2022, Cars will return with a series that takes us along for a ride across the country with Lightning McQueen and Mater on an epic road trip adventure. And lastly, Walt Disney Animation Studios will be expanding their existing worlds first revealed on the silver screen as well. As in 2022, we're going to get Baymax the series, along with a short series called Zootopia Plus. And then in 2023, we're going to get 2 long-form musical comedy series, with the first being Disney's Tiana, that will follow Princess Tiana as she arrives in Maldonia for the first time, and Disney's Moana, that will follow her adventures as she leads her island of Motunui. So that's everything that we can expect from Disney and Pixar animation in 2021 and 2022. But be sure to subscribe to DSNY Newscast as we continue to discuss new developments for the Disney parks, upcoming movies, and Disney Plus in the future. But now, as always, it's over to you, the Waltineers, as I would like to know what are your thoughts and opinions regarding all of these animation offerings from both Disney and Pixar that are coming out in the next 2 years, and also which are you most excited for. And of course, don't forget to put the timestamp for where the hidden Mickey appeared somewhere in today's video along with your suggestion or your comments, so therefore that way you're on with a chance to win one of these official Waltineer enamel pins. And congratulations to these previous winners from the videos where I spoke about the Spider-Man attraction coming to Disneyland, Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary, and also the Space 220 restaurant coming to Epcot. And so that's it for today, so be sure to go ahead and subscribe down below if you're new to this channel, hit that notification bell so that you always receive an update, and also if you've enjoyed today's video, be sure to give this video a massive thumbs up, and I've been Jack, you've been you, and I'll see you real soon.